Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back. Here we are now again with a beautiful interview for you. I have with me respected Mati-Ullah Joya Sahib, who is one of the young missionaries graduated from Jamaat-e-Ahmadiyya, Canada. And Joya Sahib, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah, and welcome to the studio. Let me ask you a question. Before you are appointed as a missionary in Marshall Islands, it seems like a difficult lifestyle as a missionary. You do so many things, staying away from the worldly desires and all that. As a young man, what motivated you to join this, service or this field or this task or this job?
First of all, Jazakallah Mirza for having me here. When I was young, I've noticed that everybody, whether it's third world or first world, they're looking for an internal peace, a peace of mind, contentment. And this is what they were lacking for. They might have $1 million, but they were missing this thing. And the other thing is, in the Holy Quran I read at that time, that whoever submits to God the Almighty, Allah takes care of his past and future as well. So I said to myself, what is the better life than this when Allah Ta'ala takes care of your problems of the past and also the future. So this became my motivation, and Alhamdulillah, I am thankful to God the Almighty that I chose this path, and I can say this with certainty that I'm living in paradise. Alhamdulillah.
Now, I remember when you devoted your life, perhaps you were the first one to join or come in the line, to apply. Now, after you graduated and you went through training and all that, as I mentioned, Marshall Islands is the one where you reside now. When were you, appointed there, and what kind of, methods you use, or what do you do there? How many people are there? What language they speak? So give us some background of Marshall, where it is, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, let me start off with my graduation. I graduated by the grace of God in 2010 from Jamaat-e-Ahmadiyya, Canada. And then after completing my training in Africa as well as in Pakistan, I was finally appointed at my final post in the Republic of Marshall Islands in September 2012, last year. Marshall Islands, something most people don't know about this country. It's a country made up of tiny islands, about 2,000 miles southwest of Hawaii, American state. This is a country with a population of about 60,000 people. Language is Marshallese. They have their own language, Marshallese language, and also they speak English as well. Majority of the religion is Christianity there. So Alhamdulillah, I got this opportunity to go there. Methods of preaching, as you've asked, are various by the grace of God. We are doing radio programs there, also doing some articles in the local newspaper, and most importantly, we are involved in a lot of humanitarian works, in service to humanity. So these are some of the things that we're going through. I would also like to share one thing with you, Mirza Sahib. Is that I always used to say to myself, how come Islam spreaded in all the continents of the world without any organized mission or any organized missionary system? And this question I came to know in Marshall Islands. And that was because of the magnetic force the Islamic teachings have. Reality is, I was grown up in Islamic environment, in Peace Village as well. But when I moved to Marshall Islands, I came to know the real beauty of Islam. And take any aspect of life, take any situation, and you will find the solution in Islam. And I can tell you this by experience and with confidence that there is no parallel in any other religion. So Alhamdulillah, this also strengthened my faith as well.
Well, talking about your appointment there, are you the first Muslim missionary there? Do we have any other mosque, any other other groups there, or how did you start there?
Well, as I mentioned, it was 100% Christian country. About 20-some years ago, the very first missionary that landed in this land was respected Hafiz Jibreel Said Sahib. He was a Ghanaian missionary. He converted one family there, and then after that, a number of missionaries had gone there for a certain period of time. But alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala has given me this opportunity to be the first one to reside there with my family full time, dedicating to tabligh and tarbiyat.
Well, you mentioned one sentence, I'm going to come to that and ask you what do you mean by that. But in the meantime, what methods do you use? You do radio interviews, you go to newspapers, you distribute literature. What do you do to engage yourself in conveying the message of Islam?
I'd say the most effective method that has kind of changed the people's views is service to humanity. When I got there, people there were in a state of shock, and they were afraid of Muslims, literally. Because it's an isolated island, and all they know about Islam is from the media. So our first strategy or program, with Allah's help and Huzur's prayer and His guidance, was to kind of win people's hearts. And that was through serving them. So we have had a number of blood drives there as well. Similarly, tutoring classes, we teach math and English to students. And obviously we also give this ad to the newspaper. Similarly, other activities are also there.
As I mentioned, you said that this place where you went, Marshall Island, it was heavily populated by Christian, denomination and Christian people. Do you mean by that now slowly you are succeeding in your mission, in your message, and people are converting to Islam and Ahmadiyya?
Yes, alhamdulillah. People there are very kind and open, but at the same time they are afraid towards Muslim. But gradually the way is getting clearer by the grace of God, and I could see the land is there very fertile as far as tabligh is concerned. Many people have already, by the grace of God, joined Ahmadiyyat and Islam. We have right now 100 plus registered members there by the grace of God.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. 100 people, with tajneed and all that. Now, how do you keep intact with them? What do you do to train them and teach them? Because they are like newly arrival and it's a big task. And how do you deal with that?
Yeah, indeed, you're right, Mirza Sahib. This is a great challenge for me, perhaps even more than tabligh, because tabligh is just, once they are in, there should be a system for them to kind of get involved in Jamaat and become a true Muslim. It's a long process, naturally, but there are two aspects to it. Number one is the children there, because I believe when they grow up, they will become the true, real, active MDs.
Right.
So for that we have a number of classes. We have tarbiti classes in which, by the grace of Allah, we have the children there, about 10 to 15, have already memorized the Salat. Some of them have already memorized the translation as well. Some surahs of Holy Quran, prayers as well. And right now they're memorizing some poems.
Jazakallah. I wish I could continue. This young gentleman graduating and then, mashallah, going to Marshall Island and conveying the message, and then having 100 people joining Ahmadiyyat. Alhamdulillah. So alhamdulillah. Now, while we are doing some seer program, let me take you back and present to you a nazm or a poem so you can enjoy yourself, and we'll see you shortly.